boys and girls. Drop a 1 in the comments if you can hear me. I've got a new headset on. Hopefully this bad boy works, but drop a 1 so I know that it does. I definitely want to say drop your city and state. That definitely helps the show every single time because it determines where we're going to plant events and put shows and all kind of stuff, live shows, all kind of things I have in mind that I want to do in this upcoming year. If you don't know who I am and you're watching the channel for the first time, my name is Ericka Williams. I'm the author of the Smartphone Millionaire book. Volume 2 is coming. Give me a break. I know. This could be in there, that could be in there, more information could be in there. Hey, volume 2 is coming. Just as much as my life has changed, I think it'll be exciting to add volume 2. Now, new rules of money changed January 2019. Now, when y'all saw me last year about October and December, I kept doing videos talking about the new FICO score, the new Ultra FICO, and how authorized user lines were losing their power. And I want you to go back and watch that video. Like, I'll definitely link it here and I'll definitely email it out again. I'll share it in the community tab because everything I said in that video is true now. It's just straight up true. I keep telling y'all banks are slow and they're having to compete on a major level like never seen before. Now, right now, Pocky of Hood Estates did a video on Blacker Pockets on Instagram, and it lined up with what I was talking about, where it almost reminds you of 2008, but instead of mortgages, it's credit cards and lines of credit. Now, last time, when people got mortgage crazy, what we call ninja loans, no doc, no income, no just stated stuff, stated income, it went bad. Well, this time, even when it's lines of credit, even when it's credit cards, as you saw, 37 million people are 90 days late on their credit cards, and 7 million are 90 days late on their cars. That's a big chunk of people. But what has to happen is the people who are getting these lines have to be very smart about the investment. Now, a lot of people who invested in houses and just had rentals, the last crash, they adjusted rents a little bit, they adjusted some stuff, and they kept on going about their day. Everybody knows that story. Now, the people who over-leveraged themselves and did crazy stuff, not so much. Now, why do I call it new rules? Today, I was in San Antonio. Yeah, last night I drove here at 11:30 at night. Woo! Yep. I mean, 11:30 at night. I was exhausted. But yesterday I took a big nap in the middle of the day, and I had to. I was just tired. And when your body's tired, you lay down and you take a nap. Period. Don't fight it. That's what I've learned over the years. Just lay down, take a nap. Now, and I drove here last night. People were like, I can't believe you drove. Is it bad? Is it choppy? Is the audio bad or is the internet choppy? Because I have a new headset on. You guys let me know, is the audio bad or is the internet choppy? Because I have this new headset on. It's just road noise. I don't know if this headset's picking it up or not. Let me know. It's good for you? It's good? Audio's fine? Okay, let me know because it's the new headset. It does pick up a lot of noise, I think. But anyway. All right, so I drove last night. People were like, oh, girl, I wouldn't have drove at no 11:30 to go to San Antonio. And I go, you know what? That's just it. You have to do, there has to be some sacrifice in this equation. Oh, the mic is sensitive. So sorry, guys. It's a new one. New headset. It sounds like the window's down. I mean, I could take this headset off, but I don't know. Let's see. I don't want to be yelling in your ear. Let's see. What does it sound like now? Does it sound worse or better? Does it sound like it's the window down? Worse or better? Does it sound the same? Okay, anyway, I'm on the road. It's the same. Anyway, long and the story short, I was saying banks. Everybody's like, same. Hey, sorry, listen, I'll do a quieter one from my house at some point this week. Well, actually not true. I'll be leaving to New York tomorrow, so I'll do one sometime soon. Anyway, so the point of my story is banks are, sounds like I'm in Star Trek quarters. You guys chill, it'll be okay. All right, so long story short, banks are dying because I went to a bank in the hood. I didn't realize it was the hood in San Antonio, but I had been driving and I just tapped on the phone, like, find me the closest Frost Bank. Just find me the closest Frost Bank. So I go and I park and I'm like, got some homeless people out here. Okay, we got a lot of thick glass at this bank. We got 27 cameras up at this bank. Okay, that's scary. But anyway, so I go in and I go, hey, I need you to print this form out for me. And instead of the guy going, I'm new and I don't know what I'm doing, he was like, oh, I've never seen that. I don't know if we can do that. I'm like, well, they do it for me all the time in the Austin branch. Now, as soon as he said that, I realized he had some resistance to doing this because he didn't know how to do it. So I simply just calmly said, I'll wait. I'll sit here and wait till you print me out the statements I need. Now, what was funny about that is the loan officer was in the lobby and was just looking at me like, okay, she's just chilling like she got all day. And I went, yeah, no problem. When I'm in Austin, they do it when I need it. So he starts talking to me and I go, can I drop off my loan paperwork here? I needed a $20K line of credit, but I'll take 10, 15, 20, whatever y'all give me. I'm trying to establish a new relationship with this bank. And he said, well, where's all your other business? I was like, well, I got some at Navy Federal, this other bank, Prosperity. He's like, why don't we have all your business? I said, well, y'all haven't earned my business. When you earn my business, maybe I'll bring all my business here. And he kind of laughed. He's like, okay, true. And he was like, well, do you have everything? I said, well, of course I have everything. I keep a little notebook on me. So I go to the car, I get the notebook, I get my laptop, and I said, what you need? He said, I need a P&L. Here you go. What else you need? Balance sheet. I'm like, here you go. So I'm talking, and he starts asking questions, trying to do what bankers do, but also trying to be a little bit nosy, because he was a young black guy, half black, half Hispanic. And he was just like, so when did you start the trucking? You got a CDL? I'm like, no, I ain't got no CDL. And I had this for X amount of months or whatever. I'm giving him all these detailed pieces. And finally he goes, okay, he's like, but where did you get where your other business at? I said, oh, my other business is e-commerce. He said, well, what do you sell? I'm like, well, let me explain that too. I'm a YouTuber and da-da-da-da-da. And so we start going into this long conversation. And what's so funny is you can see just the clock turning in his head. As he's talking, his eyes getting bigger and bigger, and he was like, well, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, yeah, we're getting ready to buy a property in Detroit, and I'm closing on these trucks today. I just want to get it done. I'm for Group E, and then Group F's tomorrow. And he just, his eyes are just like huge quarters, right? So he's like, Detroit, you have properties in Detroit? I'm like, yeah, I'm on a group. We invest in Detroit. I'm going to get another one this week. And he just, you could just see the bells going off. And he was like, you know what? I always wanted to do YouTube. I told my wife I want to do YouTube and do this and do that. And he just started, like, basically getting a free consult out of me. Now I'm here to drop off this loan paperwork. But basically, he's trying to get a free consult out of me. It was kind of funny. And the other day, he was all like, I really want to do YouTube. I know I can do it. And I wanted to be like, don't quit your job. He's like, oh, no, I'm not going to quit my job. I just want to do it on the weekends and stuff. And I was like, you can. That's the power of this economy. You can do that. But what was funny is everybody I've talked to on the phone says, oh, it takes us 2 weeks to process this, Miss Williams, because we're a small Texas bank. Now, no one daggone well Froston made the top 5 list of Texas. They're like, we're just a small Texas bank. It takes us 2 weeks to process that, Miss Williams. We just can't get that turnaround fast. Now, I'm talking to him and I'm talking to him, I'm like, what you gonna take on this, man? I need this kind of turned around. He's like, well, if you're gonna drive all the way back to San Antonio and I can be your banker, I can get it done in 4 days. Now, isn't that convenient that we talked to all these different banks and they're like 2 weeks. Talk to this man, I can do it in 4 days. And the funny thing is, I wasn't surprised. It's just something they tell people, because I was like, I have all documentation, everything's right here. How long is this gonna take? It's just $20K. You know what I mean? What's the deal? Why it taking so long? And it was just funny. So I asked him, well, why do you always sit out here in the lobby? You got an office in here, don't you? He's like, yeah, I got an office, but it's in the back. He's like, that's so old school. Who gonna even know I'm here to do loans if they got me sitting in the back? I need to be out here up front where people can see me and they can do business with me. And I just started laughing. I was like, he gets it. He gets that old banking model isn't working anymore. Now, double his trouble is he's in the hood. Now, if I'm from San Antonio, I'm pretty sure I would have known that was in the hood. I just didn't know it was in the hood. And what was funny is I was in the bank, and the line of people that came in after me, and one lady was complaining about the hobos outside asking for change. And it was so funny. It was just, it was like, they were like, they need to get the police over here. But it was a hood location. I've never seen that many black people at Frost, ever. Black and Hispanic people ever at Frost. Even when I'm at the Frost in Austin, it's all Hispanic. It's Hispanic, white Hispanic. But what was funny is just, he got it. The light bulb went off because I said, well, how long is it going to take? Because, I can call up these other places and get money and in a day, 24 hours. Now, I might not always like the interest rates, but you can turn around and pay that off pretty quick. And then I was talking to him about truck funding. I was like, well, there's companies that'll fund you. They'll get you approved in 3 hours and cut you a check in 3 days. You guys got to move faster than that. Because when I originally talked to them about getting a truck loan, or at least a big line enough to pay for a truck, they were like, oh, I don't know, it might take us 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Oh, well, is the connection bad, you guys? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm driving on the highway. I'll probably cut this one short then. The signal's bad. But my whole point is, some people are saying it's bad, so I might have to cut it. So my whole point is, banks have to become flexible. And what's the problem is, they realize they're losing business. When I wrote the Smartphone Millionaire book, I was talking about how I was taking my money and was saying a F you to the bank by putting my money into Lending Club, by putting my money into different Prosper. When I was putting my money into Rich Uncles, every time I put my money somewhere outside of a bank and it gets me interest, you're saying F you to the banks. And they know it. They know they're unpopular. And that's why you're starting to see banks have these classes where they teach you how to get your mortgage and teach you how to get credit cards all of a sudden, because they have to compete. And even here in Texas, these banks have to compete. Now, you'll go in some of these little small hick-town banks, and they'll be like, who sent you over here? Now, that ain't even the question. What you should be asking me, who sent me over to this bank? Because it ain't right by my house. You should be asking me, well, ma'am, how can we do business with you? And I've had that happen where somebody's going, who sent you over here to this bank? Because they're on the millionaire side of town, and they see me here, this girl wearing this black shirt and blue jeans and black cowboy boots, and they're thinking, who sent you over here? It don't matter who sent me over here. You gonna give me some money or not? Paperwork checked or not? And that's why I say it's just new rules of money. So banks are offering 2% savings now. It's just the funny part is people have to realize that there's a million different places to get funding, and you're not shut out just from one. Like when I went to go get this ain't the Negroes Bank. Oh man, that's terrible. There's some parts of Texas that are Bama, but it's like, but they know they could cut a check. And what was funny is, I don't get offended at somebody looking like they're silly. 20 to 30K for a used tractor. Yes. Anything under 35, I'm suspect of. That's what I'll say. Anything under 35,000, I'm suspect of, without me seeing a mechanic say it's good. And yes, to y'all answer the other day, that Hispanic family that was working with me, I am going to send them flowers. And today, what was funny is, this is what I want to tell y'all on top of that. But let me finish my story about the bank. Long story short, about the bank and all this stuff, there's a million places to get money. And really, the bank knows it now. The bank knows you'll go somewhere else. When I was even applying for my house, I applied at 2 different banks at 2 different times to see who was working faster. And honestly, they were both breaking their neck trying to give me a piece of paper at the same time. I was like, good job, good job. And the prime thing that pissed me off today, which I got to tell this story and listen, brace yourselves. I'm a religious person, but if you're religious and you take offense to this, you can. That's okay. I'm in the place where I told you the Hispanic family fixed the truck. They got the parts on it. They're going to tow it back to the dealership for me for like nothing, pennies on the dollar. And there are Hispanic and black people in there with cash, y'all. Cash, brula bread, cash, like stacks of cash. So I go in the office, and this is how comfortable, when people know you do business and they know you got money, they get comfortable. They ain't even worried about you. Everybody in there, I can tell everybody in there had something on their hip. Not out in the open, but undercover their shirt. Because I had my purse and, I was ready. So I'm in there and I'm like, yeah, I want to pay for the truck. And y'all go ahead and tow it back over there. And he starts saying, he's like, well, baby, how many trucks you got again? Now, it's a lot of people in this room. And I don't know them. Okay. But I was like, well, we got about 6, 7 trucks. I didn't want to oversay it because it's too many. When you looking in a room like that, and it's like, you got to be careful because you don't know what people are thinking. I had my pew, so I wasn't scared. I was like, yeah, I got that many trucks. He was like, okay. He was like, now, if you need somebody to meet you, you need a mechanic on the road, you want somebody to go over to wherever your truck is in Dallas, wherever, we'll go fix it, we'll go buy it. And and they were like really trying to earn the business. And the whole time he's telling me this, he's counting a stack of cash, y'all. Just choo. I mean, he counted out like $4,000, yo. And he's like telling his wife, okay, come in here and you count it too. They didn't have a cash count machine. And there was a Hispanic man in there giving him $4,000. They had just repaired some, like a whole big thing on the truck, okay? And I'm over there paying my card, and their worker, that's like their cousin or whatever, he was struggling to put it into the phone because it was like he had a new thing. Like, you just put it in the phone, and it's like a swipe, you know, like you Stripe and your PayPal swipe. And you could tell he was struggling, like, but they were making him do it. They're like, you need to do it. We can't always be here to do it, so you need to do it. So he's like, I'm so sorry it's taking me so long, ma'am. And the whole time, the husband and wife are still talking. And they like asking me questions, and I'm like, they're like, listen, we give you good deals. We'll give you good deals. Anytime you need work, you call us. You know, we'll count. We'll do it. We'll do it for you. And I was like, all right, thank you. I hear you. So finally, homeboy finished it, put it through the phone, and this black lady comes in here, and she like, I got church material, and of course she put the church material on the desk. And I told some other people this earlier, and I'm looking at her like she's a damn unicorn. Now I said, honey, you done came up in this business. There's cash everywhere. There are people up here working their ass off. And you coming in here talking about church material. Now, I looked out the window because I had just finished, you know, I'm in this office. All the doors are open at this second part of this office where they counting this huge stack of money. And I'm looking out the door. And I see her pulled up in that Chrysler 300. I want to say, honey, that's the problem. Yo, you're out here passing church literature when if you were really out here, like, I'm not knocking church. I want everybody to go to church as much as possible. But instead of trying to recruit your new church like that, you should have been out here trying to make some money. And a lot of kids see that. They see that a lot of older black people, older people are just so focused on church, but their life in other areas are shitty. Now, you done come up in this business where everybody's got stacks of bread, talking about, here's some church literature. What? Get your ass out of here dropping off flyers for a new church. And I'm religious, y'all, and I go to church, and I know you're going to say, Ericka, shame on you. But that's the point. We're missing all the business. We're missing all the gains out there financially because we out here doing stuff like that. Come on, man. Like, and she was a lady like in her 40s. I was like, is this what you're doing at 11 o'clock in the afternoon up here dropping off pamphlets? Man, if you don't go get some business about yourself, as big as San Antonio is, there is no need for y'all to be struggling out here. You're missing the point here. All right, my whole point is there's a business going where everybody's working, everybody's paying bills. No, she didn't. Trust me, she didn't have bread like that. When I know people have bread, I look at the shoes on their feet. Now, not fancy shoes. I mean good orthopedic shoes. She didn't have good orthopedic shoes. No. Okay? My whole point is there's nothing wrong with church. There's nothing wrong with going to church. There's nothing wrong. But to be going around dropping pamphlets off at churches, at people's business in the middle of the day where they're throwing cash and stacks around, girl, bye. Go get some business about yourself. Go be busy in the day. Go do something worth doing. I mean, I think y'all know what I'm saying. My whole thing is we get so focused on the wrong thing. At the most busiest part of the day, you out here passing pamphlets. That's all I'm saying. Our community misses so much stuff because we're out here like, I just started a new church. I'm glad you started a new church. But you hitting up businesses where people are working their butt off. And what I was glad about when I was in the office is it was a mess, right? The office was a mess, but it was an organized mess. As a business owner who has sometimes a messy office, I knew what was going on. He got the money here. He got this side desk with a lock on it. I know he had to pew under that desk because the way he was sitting, I know that's where it was at. And like, all the flow that was at that business, I was like, I just wanted to be like, yeah, I'm gonna work with y'all. You know, go to the bank at lunchtime and bother busy folks. Yeah, that's my whole thing. It's like, here's the epitome of how I look at America. These people are putting in money. They are making money. They are running a whole company, and you dropping off pamphlets. Man, get your ass out of here, man. I just cannot. So, you know, y'all can, you know, some people why am I playing? I'm not playing. I always go, ma'am, pamphlets in the middle of the day while everybody working. Get your rump on out of here, man. Get on out of here. That's almost worse than panhandling. But, you know, never know. She never know who she might reach with her pamphlets. But again, I mean, if you look on the wall of this business, and this is I'm an observer. I observe the whole place. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna take photos. I'm gonna watch everything. On the wall, they had all these little league teams of little Black and Hispanic boys full on the wall, where their business was supporting all these little league teams. And I said, that's how you impact the community. When you start buying outfits for little Jerome and little Julio, that's how you're, you know, and giving them something to do in baseball games, that's impacting the community. When you start throwing money around your whole family, they had a new girl in there I didn't see the last week. They had a little 12-year-old boy, must have been in school. I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was at school today. Who knows what he was doing? Today's Thursday. Maybe little boy's at school. They had an older girl in there. She was Hispanic, but you tell she looked just like them. And she was in there, and I come in and she spoke to me, but the wife was like, oh, no. I know her. We got her. And so she's like, okay. And so they're training her. And I said, they're already training the next generation of people in their family to run that place when they're not there. Thank you for the $5 super chat. They're already training family members to run it when they're not there. They're training the Hispanic guys who are usually just a mechanic. And he's like, I don't know how to do this. She's like, you're going to have to learn how to do it, because I can't always be here to do it for you. And it wasn't that she was being saucy or disrespectful to the band. She just was trying to tell him, like, you got to be able to do it without me doing it for you. And that's how businesses run, and that's how they get better. And that's how all your family members carry their weight. Because if you just have a family member that can be a mechanic, but you can't close out somebody's stuff, then you know, you make the office have to wait for you. You make people have to go behind you and work. And I just love that. I mean, I could see them making him do that today. And that was funny to me because he was really struggling. But I was okay. I was like, I got time. And then the girl who's probably like, you know, and they probably need a break after the mother have died on Friday. Like, that just blew my mind. He was still working today. Even today, he was working hard. But I am going to send them flowers because somebody said that at yesterday's show. And that is a good idea. I just like how they do business. But you can tell when somebody does good business, and they can tell when you're legit. Because the way he was talking to me, he was like, make sure you get some of our cards. We'll always beat everybody's price. If you come to us, or we'll tow you wherever you are, we'll beat everybody's price. And I was like, thank you. But my whole point in that is, when you go out here, when you're speaking to people, when you're investing, when you're trying to raise money, like, don't overlook it. Because I'm telling you, when that man came with that tow truck the other day to get that vehicle, he was dressed normal as can be. But his shoes, he had some good orthopedic shoes. I'm telling you that. That business owner had good Tina shoes on, okay? Now, y'all think I'm joking about that, but that's a real thing I see on people's feet. Bad shoes. I'm talking about orthopedic size. But all that to say, that all that video I did last year, is spot on. And when I called up those people who could prove me in 3 hours for a truck, just as a backup, because I saw an extra truck I wanted, I'm telling you, they were like, hey, send us 3 bank statements. They were like, send us 3 months bank statements. I sent them 6. They were like, okay, girl, damn. Okay, we got you. You approved. Okay, calm down. But that's, so many people fight me on the track record. Having a track record, having a business bank account, showing where the money's coming in. I know all y'all trying to be under the radar. I know some people got child support issues. I know some people trying to hide from alimony and the IRS and the tax man and everybody else. But you got to have a track record, because that's the new currency. They didn't even care if I had a down payment. They're like, what you got? You got bank statements? I was like, yeah, I got 6 months. Here's 6 months. Here you go. They were like, okay. Because now originally when I got on the phone with somebody at the office, they were like, oh, you got to have $25,000 down. I'm like, what? That's ridiculous. And then I sent them bank statements. Well, just bring 10. You good. Come on, baby. You know what I mean? So a lot of times what people have to understand is, if you got a track record, if you can show you've been in business and you do business the right way, because I can tell you this, in the trucking industry, so many people, like, I'll say the driver yesterday and the driver today both asked me, could I buy them a truck? They would give me a lump sum of cash if I would buy the truck in my name. And I realized that's a lot going on in the industry. Because as soon as I told people I don't have a CDL, they're like, oh, well, we're going to have to make your down payment higher. Because they're so used to people's wives with good credit applying for the truck or other people applying for the truck. They already figure, somebody else is trying to get you to apply for this truck for them. I mean, it's genius, because honestly, I'm pretty sure with some of those Hispanic dudes, that's what they're doing. For sure. They've already figured out that that's what you're doing. So, make good conversation, talk to your loan people, be relaxed. Like, every time I go somewhere, I'm very relaxed. Like, okay, like, I got time. Go ahead and take your time trying to find that. Which truck? So you got to realize there are many trucks I'm looking at. Now, there's one truck that's going for $59,000. There are two that are going for $54,000, and this is $54,000, $59,000. And there is one going for $44,000. Now, the thing about it is, it's the miles. You really gotta look at the miles, okay? So the reason those trucks are $54,000 and people are like, man, that's too much, Ericka. No. They're newer and they have way less miles. Way less miles. Now, the truck that was like 44, it had some miles on it, but not bad. And what you got to understand is, like, if a truck on average is going to drive that 1.1 million or 1.2 million miles before it needs like major engine issues or anything like that, if you find a truck that's 300,000 miles or 400,000 miles, or it's drove local by FedEx and stuff like that, you finding a deal, man. You finding a deal, usually. Not always, but usually. Check out for some other stuff, but usually. And also the drivers. Like, my one driver, I messed him up. See, I said, listen, I need you to fill up. I need you to fill up both of these trucks with gas. Fill them both up. So he drives the first truck, the one that he's supposed to take, got gas. And this is what happened with the Indian lady up there, thinking, like, oh, she thought I was a driver. And I was like, no, honey, I just own the truck. She, like, found to stop the whole store, like, what? How you get them trucks? How much them trucks cost? And I want to be like, chill, lady, chill. Okay? People behind me, they want me to get out of this line. And then I let him drive the second truck and fill it with gas for his friend that was coming. And the first thing he said when he got a truck, well, his truck is smoother and his seat's nicer. And I'm like, bro, they're the same seats. Look at my seat. So now he starts showing me where his seat's a little rocky. And I'm like, bro, I'm not trading you trucks. I done put you on the insurance on this truck, so drive it on and get on down the road. But I messed him up. I shouldn't have let him fill up both trucks if I knew he was gonna be whiny like that. Because they were exactly the same truck with the exact same seats, y'all. He was like, his truck's smoother. Whining. Anyway, these are sleepers, because right now the name of the game is teams. Now, I'm not trying to tell old boy business, but there's a guy in our Hood Estates group. He literally has teams driving. He might be watching. He tried. Oh, he really tried. He tried hard too. He like, see right here and this, and I got up there and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know, if it still has a problem next week, let us know. We'll try to bolt it down harder or whatever, right? But the thing of it is team drivers. If you can get two guys in a truck, two beds, there are some, and these are all foreigners they're hiring basically. Them guys will drive. I mean, they'll make that truck make $20K in a month. Now, you're not getting the full $20K. No, that's not what it is. The truck itself, how much it can deliver and drop off, can make $20K. And then they'll cut you a smaller check. But there's a guy in Hood Estates right now, in the Hood Estates group, trucking group. The company he's with, they've got team drivers. He's making freaking $5,000 a week right now. Now, he's had 3 rows. You guys will see me post his stuff, his settlements. But my settlements compared to his look sad, okay? Like, we finally got our trucks all on the road, and we got teams in 3 of the trucks. No, let me make that correct. Group F, Group E, and Group D has a one sleeper. Well, basically E, F, and I think D for a week, because he's trying to see if they'll roll with it, and he'll put them in hotels. When they have those teams, they're gonna have good payouts. And so that's what I've learned out of this thing is, you can get it. Now, 2 of my drivers, they said that they don't like driving in teams. They don't like being in a car with another man. I don't know what that's about. Maybe they have gas. I don't know. That's not my problem. But they are big on, they're so happy that they just have one person in their truck. They're like, Miss Williams, I'll drive. But I don't want to be in a team. I'll drive long hours just to not be in a team. I'm like, okay. But there's money to be made. And as soon as I can show some good settlements, I'll show them. We've just had a rough patch of like quitter drivers, and I just didn't want to show those sad settlements. They're making me angry. But when I get some good ones, I'll be posting on Instagram after I show my group, of course. But yeah, it's been a very challenging thing. Nope, I'm not dispatching. I'm not doing any of that. The company I'm with does all that. They do all of that. I didn't even have to find a driver for this new company. And the only reason I'm doing that this time is, one, the original company I was with is pissing me off greatly. And two, there's another company I want to try just to have an extra back burner. But here's the thing: when you have 5 to 7 trucks at one company, you have leverage, right? And even though they know I'm new in the business, they were like, we really want your business, we'll make it even fair. We'll give you 85% to 15%. Now, originally when I talked to them, they were like 70-30. When I was like, well, I'm not bringing all my trucks if you're not going to do that. They're like, okay, we'll do 85-15. 85 you, 15 us. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I mean, you start getting more leverage the more. They were just taking a long time to get paperwork done. They were taking a really long time. They were like, oh, I'm struggling to find drivers. I'm like, look, if y'all don't find somebody by next week, we're proud. But the first company was pissing me off because their policy and their practices, and they were nickel and diming to death. What's up with Slack? Man, Slack is harder than I thought. Like, I sent people invites, and then it put a bunch of people in group 1, and then it put a bunch of people in this group, and I'm like, what in the world? So I might have to, like, delete a group and then put it back up and add people to it the right way. I have to watch the Slack tutorials. I don't have enough assistance. That's the problem. I don't have enough help. But I'm going to come back, when I come back in town, I'm going to get a bigger office. Because if I could have somebody I could train up from scratch to not do exactly what I do, but a portion of what I do, man, this would be so much smoother. But anyway, that's just the long and the short of it. That money moves, money's changing, and you gotta pick up on that, man. You gotta pick up on it, and you gotta have documentation. If you got documentation for the past 3 months, and the reason I know why that's happening with all this bank documentation is because of all the MS systems, the manufacturer spending that people's doing. They're catching on to it. All the manufacturer spending, they're like, what are y'all doing? I mean, that's why I know it's what it is. And that's why I said, if you meet somebody and they're like, I got an 850 credit score, that's cool and all, but what are you doing with it? It's just a tool. So right now, it's not like they're approving a bunch of crazy mortgages, but they are approving people on credit cards like crazy. Navy Federal has been throwing out credit cards like crazy. Other credit unions are throwing out credit cards like crazy. Amex, American Express, all of them. And I'm just telling a lot of these people, I know you want to travel. I know you want to get these points and travel, but the best thing for you to do is take that money and put it into something useful that makes sense. Yeah, buying gift cards and doing silly mess. But banks are catching on to that. So that's why I know everybody and their mom's going to start asking for 30-day, 60-day, 90-day bank statements. And I was right. Everybody I've talked to, I've been like, hey, they're like, you got 3 months bank statements? I said, I'll send them right now. Okay, we'll get your stuff done today. I mean, like, no worries, no problems. You got documentation, no problem. And I know 2 guys right now who just bought shelf corporations. And I was like, you're still going to run into the same problem of documentation, dude. And they're like, oh, no, we're not. It's going to be fine. I'm like, all right. Like, okay, maybe I'm just being stupid, but I'm pretty sure that's what you're going to run into. Because what they're kind of asking is, are you the same owners? Do you have the same banks? Like, there's just particular questions they're asking to get a no out of people. And that's what the banker was originally doing today. The guy is, I'm not ragging on him, but originally he was asking me questions like, trying to find a no. And then when he realized, like, oh no, I've got a whole nother bank over here with all this money, then he was like, damn, I need to get her business. Like, how can I get her business in here? Okay, you're getting a trade line? Be careful. But yeah, it's just a lot of opportunity out here. But that's my thing I'm trying to tell people. As long as you got documentation and you can show them, they're and that's why when I was putting together the funding course, I was literally saying, okay, you need documentation and you need to get those small lines of credit. Even though people are like, nah, I want this 50 and 60 and 80K stuff. It's like, nah, man, like little lines, and they come back and ask for more. Because there's a thing called evergreen, but I don't have time to go into it today. But it's essentially, sometimes when you have a bank and you have a lot of credit, and it's like you keep moving money on it and paying stuff off and then rolling it back again. Like, you'll get to a level at a bank where it's called evergreen, and I'll do a different video on it, but it's long story short, the bank all of a sudden is like, whatever you need, they'll let you cut the check, basically. They'll move up your line really easy. So anyway, you guys, I'm back in Austin now, and I'm about to get off on my turn and relax my nerves. No, they don't. Only reason, and everybody who's asking me about like shelf corps and different things like that, they really don't work. Like, you can buy an LLC, can buy this one and the LLC, and it really doesn't. And the reason why is the Patriot Act. I know y'all don't believe me. I know some of you, there's like 13,000 new subscribers, so some of you weren't here in December when I did that big credit video. But it's part of the reason I stopped working with Credit Repair directly and started having staff, and also we merged with somebody. So it's like, there's a reason I took my hands off on a lot of that, because the Patriot Act is like, it's basically saying F you to privacy. That's what the Patriot Act is basically doing, because they're saying, well, we need to make sure that they're not drug trafficking. We need to make sure they're not child trafficking. We need to make sure they're not a terrorist. So we need to see who owns this bank account and this LLC and this corporation, because if we don't know, they could be terrorists. I mean, just the dumbest stuff I've ever heard of. But that's all those banks need. And there was a while where I would go in the bank and take like 10K and put it in, and then I realized, I was like, you're probably being flagged right now. They're probably flagging the account right now, snitching to the government, being like, she keep putting in a little bit of money. She put in a little bit. I know that's what they were doing. And they have to, according to the law, but what it is they're just, Uncle Sam's looking for people not paying taxes. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, I'd rather you document, tell the government you made whatever, and pay on it. Because Uncle Sam don't care as long as you pay. And that's the facts. Like, you can do whatever you want, but you gotta pay. You know, so, and that's what people are learning. And a lot of these guys you're seeing, and trust me, this is part of another reason why I quit messing with it. A lot of these guys you're seeing, not only are they getting shelf corporations, a lot of them are getting Shopify companies that will bring up all these sales, like bring up almost $1 billion in sales. They're only really getting like 10%, right? 100,000 a year. But the documentation, even if the Shopify store stays open for 6 months, they take that documentation and they get approved for all those credit cards. And then when the store gets shut down, because with Amazon FBA and Shopify, I don't want to step in somebody else's lane, but I'll just say you can't drop ship, and somebody could probably explain this a little bit better, but you can't drop ship certain accounts, and if you do, they'll shut your account down. Now, they'll shut your account down, but there are guys who know how to open your account back up and get through the process. But that's why you're seeing a lot of this. So, I'm driving. I think somebody had a good question, but I'm driving and I can't read it fully. So Enterprise, if you take the funding course I have or the create your own investment course, my biggest thing I tell people is do not care about that. What you need to care about is possession. Now, what does that mean? If you can possess the tax lien, the tax deed, the whatever, it doesn't matter if you bought it in cash with your name, but if you can transfer it because you bought it all fully in cash, then you can transfer it to your LLC because you're the main lien holder, okay? Or if you take that LLC and you buy small notes and different things with it, it's possession. I mean, like, that's why people are missing it. You know, like all these people on the internet arguing about, I don't want things on my personal credit. Oh. And I'm like, but if you own it yourself, like some of these properties in Detroit are like 15K. So I've seen guys pull off their credit card, get the property, then deed it, sell it, whatever, deed it, mostly sell it, deed it to their LLC, and then, you know, whatever. It's just moving paperwork. And a lot of people are like, I want to keep it separate. And I'm like, is your business making $8,000 to $15,000 a month for the past 2 years, documented, and you're paying taxes? Then you're going to get some PG, baby. You're going to get some PG. If you can't show that you can do that, they're going to be like, no, not for you, not for you. So there's a lot of rules to it, but I put together the funding course. It should be in the links. And I just broke it down in multiple different ways because I knew this. I told y'all in December this was what was happening. And this whole new Ultra FICO score was going to affect you some way, somehow. And people are like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Now these companies are offering. Oh, DL, there's a whole nother bit to that. That's why I said I'm just going. can go get the funding course and you can find it out for yourself. But the thing of it is there are steps that people are missing over and over, and I just, you know, I've proven that I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna close on that Detroit property here, like coming tomorrow or Monday. We're gonna go ahead and finish up and closing on a couple other properties, and I've just proven what I know what I'm talking about, and so I don't have to prove anymore. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I've done enough. So, your girl signing off. You guys have been amazing, and thank you so much. I'll go back and read these comments when I get to the house, and then I'll respond a little bit. So, later, y'all.